All of you are getting me online? Please respond. Yeah, I think one by one you are joining in today's live class. Okay, so let us start with today's topic. So today we'll be discussing function. As you know that we are always using function in main, because the main function is also a function which performs a sequence of tasks. Now if we are supposed to divide the entire tasks into some subtasks, then we have to split the entire task into subtasks, and these subtasks definitely must be a fragmented block of some statements collectively to do a specific job. So when we need to perform a certain job from a lot of jobs, a specific job, where we will use function. But this is the main purpose of putting functions or blocks in our codes. So for the programs what we have discussed, we didn't use function. So now onwards, all the programs what we have discussed, we have to write again using function. What happens in real life to develop a software system or software package? A lot of software developers are involved. They are assigned to do some specific job individually, and each of them need to perform that job, and eventually after completion of all these jobs individually, eventually it needs to be collected in a single space, and that has to be embedded in our main function. Okay, so this is the purpose of function, so that an entire job should not be a burden for a particular person. The jobs are divided into a lot of persons. So the teamwork. So to perform the teamwork successfully, we have to use functions. Okay. So now let us discuss about how to write a function and what are the items involved in a function. Let me see how many of you are now online. Yeah, so many of you are online right now. Okay, fine. So all of you concentrate the class properly. It's very important, and that's why I have decided I will not only discuss the theoretical part of this, I will show you some programs writing the C compiler. Okay. So now let us start writing a simple function. Okay. So what do you do then? Has include stdio.h. What do you do to include a header file Then we start main function. Okay, then let's do a simple program using a function. Let us find out the maximum of two numbers using a function, what we have already done in our first or second classes, right? So we are supposed to take two variables, int a comma b. Now we have to take the value of this variable from keyboard. That's why we have to print a message. So print the value of a and b. Okay. Now scanf, you have to take the values using scanf, %d, %a, comma, %b. It's fine. Okay. Now we are starting the way to write the function. We need to call a function because this job, that is finding out the maximum of two numbers, this job we will be doing using a function. So let us give the function name. Okay. Let us give the function name as max a b. Okay, simple. Now so whenever we will be using, this is called our user defined function because this function is created by me, this name is given by me. Whenever you will be using an user defined, the functions mainly divided or can be categorized into two categories. One is that system function, another is user defined functions. System functions mean the scanf, printf, getSeach, whatever you have used so far. All these are defined in the library of C. That's why you may consider these as system defined functions. We have no scope to alter those functions. So likewise, we can create our own functions which are called user defined functions. So whenever you are creating your own function to get a specific job done, you have to declare, like the variable declaration, you have to declare the pattern of the function or prototype of the functions. Mean we have to know the compiler everything about these functions. So mainly a function comprises of three items. First one, what value it will return. It may return a value or it may not return any value. If it doesn't return any value, the function return type will be void. If it returns any value, then according to the type of the value to be returned, that will be specified. Here we are not returning any value, that's why we will be writing void here. Void, then function name of the function is max. So max, then list of arguments with its data type. Here see, we are passing two arguments. We are passing two integer values stored in these two integer variables. So the type, only the type we need to mention. without mentioning the variable name. Only the two types we need to mention. Okay, see here. So the function comprises of three items. One is return type, this void. Another is the name of the function you have chosen, and the list of arguments with this data type. Here two arguments are passed with data type int. The type of this variable a and b is int, that's why two integer values, so int comma int, then semicolon. Let me ask you a question, whether the font of the compiler is visible, is clear to all of you, or I need to increase it. Whether the font is fine, the size of the font is fine, or I need to increase it. My dear students, let me know whether the font of the student is fine, or I have to resize, I have to increase the font size. Please respond. Please respond. Manisha, Shwadhin, Shomi, Ovijit, Aniket, Hadikul, Mohit, are you getting my question? Whether the size of the font of the compiler needs to be increased or not? Fine, increase it, sir. Okay, let me increase it a bit. I am talking about this font. I am talking about this font. Okay, let me increase it. You also just see how to increase the font of the text you are writing in compiler. That is editor option, right? You have to go in editor option, then font, then here size 10. Let me increase by 12 or 14. Okay, this much is sufficient, I think. Okay, now this is fine. I think now it looks fine for you, right? Now it's fine, huh? Yeah, otherwise it will look clumsy if I increase the font again. Okay, increase. I think now it's fine. I have increased it in 14, size of 14. Okay, now it's fine. Prabir Patro, Mahamahopadhyay, the font is now looks fine, it's sufficient, no font size. Okay, let me, okay, fine. So continue with the discussion. Okay, absolutely fine. Okay, Shantan Sarkar, absolutely fine. Okay, Devanjali Mukherjee. Okay, so all of you are present, no? All the 34 students I wanted to be present now onwards. Otherwise, the purpose is to learn the programming. It's not only to qualify your exam, because these, until and unless, I told you so many times, until and unless you don't have an idea about in writing C is a primitive language, you know. So getting job will be difficult for you in the IT industry. Okay, let us continue. So now fine. So the three items or the functions we have declared. These declaration technically is called prototype declaration of a function. Prototype declaration of a function, and we need to define it. We did declare it before main. This is called declaration, not definition. Declaration of the function. Definition means whenever we will be writing the body of the function, that will be called definition. Now let us define the function after main. We have completed main, nothing to do with the main, and let me define the function. Here we have called the function, we have not defined, but we have to put the details of this function, right? So let us define it in detailed way. So void max int x comma int y. Okay, now like main function, we are creating another function, the max. This is our own function, user defined function. And what is the purpose of this function? We need to find out the maximum of these two values. So let us take max variable. Let us take a variable with another name. Let us take it as t. Okay, in t. Now if simple logic, if a greater than b, then t is a, else. This, just see how I am maintaining the indentation. Okay, else t is b, is assigned to b. Okay, now I can print the result here using printf. The max value is equal to, which is stored here in t. So t is integer type, so format specifier will be %d comma, then just write the variable name. Simple. Okay, now it's completed. Now let us save it. Okay, let us save it. Let me save it test, the name test, and save as type c source file dot c. It will be automatically saved as test dot c in this path. Save. Fine. Okay, another existing program was there, that's why I have replaced it with this one. Now let me compile it. So F9, compile and run. It's fine. No. Okay, now see, is an error. What error? In function main error name int, I have by mistake I have written int. See, this is the way you have to know how to debug your program, how to make your program error free, and this listing you will be getting over here. The debugging is also very important in this software development profession. So I have written IND instead of T. Okay, now let's compile it again. Okay, save it, Control S, then and F9. Okay, A undeclared. See here, A, the variable A and B are not declared here. So this is intentionally I have done this mistake to make you understand. Here in this function we have not declared variable A and B. These variables A and B are the main function. So this is we called the local scope. So here A and B are within the scope of main, and here t, x, y are within the local scope of this function max, which we are going to create. So A and B, these variables are not being recognized this max. That's why we are getting the compilation error. So we have to write what? X and y, and so x and y. Now let us compile it again. Control S, function F9. Now it's fine. Okay, compilation results. So let's check the output. Run. See, print the value of A and B, let's say 10, 40. The max value is 40. Okay, so it's working fine. Now let us explain it once again properly. Concentrate, all of you concentrate properly. Here, what is X and Y? Here X and Y, as I told you, the local variables. What is happening here? Value of A and B. When I call, this is called calling statement of the function. This is called prototype of the function, where we have put the details of the function as signature. Sometimes it is also called signature of the function, or the synonym is prototype of the function, declaration of the prototype of the function. Then your job is calling the function as and when required in the main. So main calls the function, this function max. Now when this max function is being called, this max function actually passing the values as argument. This is called passing of arguments. So value of B will be copied in Y and value of A will be copied in X. So this sequence of passing the arguments will be right to left, not left to right. Here you can sense this, that these two are same, but sometimes it may differ, especially for the post implementation or pre implementation whenever it is required, because these value, the right parameter, value of the right parameter will be passed first, then it will be right to left, okay, sequentially the passing of the argument. So value of the B will be passed into Y, a value of A will be passed or copied in X. So here, as per our output, we passed 10, 40. So 10 and 40. So first 40 will be copied in Y and then 10 will be copied in X. Okay. Now X and Y got the value, and we have applied the logic to find out the maximum of two variables. Simple. In T we have taken it. I don't think I need to explain this code, you know that. Okay, so in T we are getting the result and we are just showing the result in this local function max. But now it is my requirement, I will show the result in this function I have created. Now someone asked me, if someone asks me, I don't want to print the result here, I will print the result here. Instead of printing the result here, I will print the result here. Let me cut it. Okay, let me cut it and this, but simply cutting and pasting will not fulfill your purpose, because here we have found the maximum of this. So we have to, since we are printing the result here, we have to transfer, or we have to return the result from this max function to the main function from where it was called, right? So we have to return some value as a maximum. This value of T we must return in main, okay, because we want to print this result here. So here, instead of making it void, we are here returning return the value T. And since we are returning a value, and since the value type of the value or variable is integer, so instead of writing void, we have to write what? Int. So here function returning value. The initial version was function didn't return any value, that's why we declared it as void as a return type. Now we have to change it with int because we are returning int. Now we have to store, we can store this result anywhere with some another variable, like say here we can store result result taking another variable. Now if we write this here result, okay, this, and if we print this result here result, now let us execute it. Control S, no, function F9, okay, compile, and F11, compile and run. Okay, 30, 50, we got 50. So we have done same thing but in different way. Just try to understand the difference of these with earlier version. Here we have returned a value, and instead of taking a third variable, you can print here what is being done when the value of t is returned over here. So result, this value is being stored in result where we are assigning this value. So the value will return here, and that value, that returned value, will be assigned by a third to a third variable result, and we are just printing the result. Okay, now instead of taking a third value, I'm making it deactivated. Okay, so it's not required. Okay, I can directly call the function here also, max a comma b. Okay, fine. I have to put another bracket. Okay. Now control S, function 11, int ab 30, 60, 60. Okay, got it. What we have done, instead of using a third variable to store the result which has been returned from this local function, we have directly called the function here. So this print function is a function, system function, which is defined in stdio.h. This print function is calling the max function directly. Okay, the same way, but we are not using any third variable. I think now it's clear to all of you. Please respond. It's clear to all of you or not? It's clear? Please respond. Whatever I have discussed, these all of you have understood this. Sir, can you declare a function inside the body of the main? Can we declare? No, we cannot declare any function in the body. I mean, we are calling, we can call a function. I think you are mixing the concept with the object oriented programming in what we do. In class we can define so many classes, right? Okay, so it is not the same. We cannot declare any function. We cannot define the function in any function in main. Declaration means, okay, you told it, the declaration means we can declare. Your declaration not, yeah. So let me explain you in more detailed way. Declare means, here it is called declaration, not definition. I can declare it over here. Yeah, that is fine. I can declare these function here, but that declaration will be in the local scope of main. But declaring here means that will be a global declaration, so that all the functions in this program may access these function, right? So declaration, always the good convention is whatever function you will be using, it must be declared globally before me, otherwise it will be a local declaration only. Okay, now see, now I think so it's clear to you. Now let us show another program. Now what we will be doing, now our next job will be what we have done earlier also, that is to exchange the content of two variables, mean swapping the contents of two variables. Now let us take example like swap function. I am giving as swap. We will be swapping the values of these two, and let us make it void. Interpret the value of a, b, scan f, these. Okay, then delete. Okay, now swapping, you know happens how to swap. T is a is b, sorry, a is b and b is t. You have done it earlier. This same thing we will be doing using function, so we will not be doing this here. This job we will be doing using a function swap. Okay, so we have to call the swap function as earlier. We have to call the function from them. Now swap a comma b. With these two values we are calling the swap function, and now check what will be void. Let us change the name is WAP, int x into y, int t. Okay, so t is x, x is y, y is, all of you first see what I am doing, then I will answer all of your queries on t is x, y is t, y is t. Okay, now we don't have to return anything, we will be just printing and checking whether the swapping has been done successfully or not. So printf semicolon addition slash n, a is %d, value of a, %d, then I am putting a slash and t to print a tab space, then b is %d and comma xy, okay, semicolon. Now nothing else, I'm just making it deactivated. Okay, got it. Now let us execute the program. Control S, F11. Okay, printf what this very skip the semicolon. Control S function 11. Print the value of a and b. So let us see value of the base 10 and 20. Value of a is 10 and value of, now value of a becomes 20 and value of b becomes 10. The swapping has been done. Fine, got it. Okay, so we have done the swapping, but it is not the accepted one. See, here the swapping or interchanging is being done locally in this swap function, because what is happening that value of A and B are being copied in X and Y. So this is called, actually there are two kinds of calling a function, two methods of calling a function. One is called by value, another is called by reference. Here what we have discussed so far, all these are calling by value, means here the copy is done, value of B is copied here, sorry, it's not parts scanner, okay fine, value of B is copied in Y, value of A is copied in X. So call by value is being done here, it is called calling by value. But now check, now see, I want to print, instead of printing this here, okay, I want to check whether the swapping has been done in main. Okay, so let me just print this copy and control V. A is this, so A and B. Okay, let me keep it activated. Both are activated now. Now let's see what we get. Okay, control S function F11, print the value of AB, let's say is 10 and 20. See, 20 10 10 20. So this printing is being done from execution of this printf, and the last one is being done from the execution of this. So swapping is not being done here, means these changes in values are not getting affected here. Why? Because we have handled the copied version of this one, because the changing or interchanging has been done within X and Y, not within A and B. A and value of A and B remains same, it is not getting changed, rather value of X and Y are getting changed. A is not same as X, B is not same as Y. It is X and Y are copying the value of A and B correspondingly. Okay, so here in the copied version this change is being done, but this should not be our motive, this should not be our purpose. Our purpose is swapping must be done in main, but that job we will be doing using a function, but change must be reflected in main. Okay, so we have to do the needful. So this calling by value, this technique will not be able to fulfill this purpose. We have to think otherwise. Instead of passing the values of the parameter, if we pass the address of these parameters, address of these variables, then let's see what happens. I will be passing this one, ampersand A and ampersand B. Okay, what I am doing, address of, this is an address operator. So instead of passing the value of A, content of A, I am passing the address of A and address of B. And what kind of variable can hold the address of a variable, another variable? Pointer variable. Only a pointer variable can hold the address of any variable of the same type. So if we define it this way, it will not be correct one, because here we are passing the address of A and B, and X and Y will be holding the address. Then definitely this X and Y will not be a simple variable, this will be a pointer variable. And how to declare a pointer variable? I told you so many times in the class that the pointer declaration of the pointer variable will be in this way: variable type followed by star, then the name of the variable x. So in star x and in star y, right? So now x and y becomes a pointer variable. Now what we will be doing? T is star x, T is star x, and star x star y, and star y is T. What we are doing here, we are, this star x means content of address. This star is for declaring the pointer variable. I told you so many times. And after that, whenever you will be getting star, this means this star implies value at address of x. So value at address means what? The content of x. Value at address x. Value. We are getting value, and value we are getting the address, and value at address means the original value of a. So T is star x means T is getting, if it is 10, if it is 10 and A is 10 and B is 20, then T is assigned to what? T is getting the value of A, that is 10. Star x means A, basically value of A. A means value of content of A. If it is 10, then T is 10. Star x is value at address. Now here value at address x, which was 10 in variable A, that value of address will be assigned to value at address y. So value at address, if it is B, then value at address, and y was holding the address of B, then value of address y will be definitely B. So star x is star y, means basically the A is getting the value of B. Now we have to change the value of B with A, which is stored in T here. So to get getting the value of B from here using pointer star y means B. So we are assigned the value of B with the value of T, which we stored here. So star y is T. Now if we print, it is not valid. It is not valid here. Okay. We are printing the value of it. So actual change, original change has been done in main from outside of main. First let us execute the program. Control S, function F11. Okay. Void swap in type int here. Evidently I forgot to change the type here. Okay, now control S, function F11, value of A is 10, 20. What? A is 20, B is 10. A was 10, B is 20. Now it is being swapped. Did you understand it? I repeat, this method is calling call by reference, which differs with the earlier function. Call by reference. So there are two methods. I repeat, there are two methods of calling a function. One is call by value, another is call by reference. So when we need to use call by reference? This is the question. When do we need to use call by reference method? It is a big question. The answer is whenever we need to manipulate or change the content or value of any variable of main from outside of main, means from any other function, not from the main functions. Whenever, I repeat, whenever we need to change the value of a from outside of main, here we are changing the, swapping the value, means we are changing the value of a from outside of main functions, mean within swap, in swap function we are actually changing the original value. This means we're changing the value of original main function, variable of main functions. Okay, main function, so it is called this. Then we need to use the call by reference. I repeat, whenever we need to change the content of variables of main from outside of main, we must use call by reference, otherwise it is not possible. Okay, so let me ask you, let me see whether you are understanding my discussion. Please respond whether you are understanding. Sir, in the 17th the colon, okay, I have corrected there, this one, this is a very trivial compilation mistakes. I was not I didn't concentrate, so anyways now it is fine. So any questions from you so far what we have discussed? Any question? Any question? Yes sir, you understood, all of you understood, no? All of you understood. So got it, the necessity of using call by reference. Yes sir, got the calling by reference. Yes sir, understood. Good. Okay, and you can follow this video lecture a number of times repeatedly at your home, no problem, because I will be uploading it. You will follow offline also, right? Okay, let us proceed with the next one. Okay, let us just see what the notes I given you now. Okay, this is a function. You need to set one function, just declaring a function, prototype, return type. Consist of a function header and a function body. Here are all the parts of the function: return type, function name, parameters, function body. All these I told you, explained you. Function declaration, calling a function, these all these I already explained. I have shown you function arguments, these two types of calling, call by value, call by reference. Fine. Then swap, the same program I had shown you. Okay, fine. Now now since we have discussed the array, now I will be showing you how to pass an entire function in an array. Let's say I want to calculate the average marks of 10 students for a particular subject. I want to calculate the average marks of 10 students for a particular subject. We have done it earlier, but now we will be doing it within using function. So let's start from the beginning. Let us give a name. AVG. Okay, marks. Okay, this is the style writing of function. It is industry oriented style, industry compatible style rather. That fast letter will be in small case, and whenever you will be merging any other words, the first letter of that word will be in capital one. That's why I have written in this way. This is an industry compatible style. If you follow, it will be good for you. Anyways, it will be industry ready, professional. Now see, our purpose is to finding out the average of 10. So what I will be doing, we have to take an array of 10 dimension. Okay, so let us take marks with 10 dimension. Okay, let us take some variable. If I need to take any more variable, I will take it. Okay, now print the value of scanner. Take the enter, right? Enter the value. Enter the value of 10 marks. Okay, now as you know that how to take input to an array. To take input to an array, we need to use a for loop or any loop. I am using for here. For I is 0, since the array index starts from 0, so I is 0. I less than 10. Okay, right? Now I plus plus. Okay, fine. Now scanf marks M-A-R-K-S marks third bracket I. Fine. No. Okay, fine. So we have taken the 10 marks. We have taken the 10 marks into the marks array. Okay. Now we will be just calling a function. Rather directly we will, okay, average. Now let's take another variable, AVG. Okay, average marks, and let's call this function assigning the value of each in average AVG variable. So now I will be calling the function AVG MARKS average marks. Average marks. Fine. Now this is the point of main declaration. We have to pass the entire array to the function. We are not calculating the result, the average over here in main. We will be doing the job using another function. Okay, so here we have to pass the entire array. So how to pass an entire array to a function? This is the title of this topic, the discussion, how to pass an entire array to a function. Okay, to pass an entire array to a function, we need to specify the name of the array, ARR. Okay, sorry, marks. Here you have taken this marks, okay, that's marks, and dimension of the array. Here the dimension is 10. So two parameters we need to pass. One is the name of the array and another is this dimension or size of the array, nothing else. Now we can put the result here, we can print the result here. Okay, AVG, okay, printf, this is the result equal to this. Okay, now let us define the function. AVG MARKS int star x and int n. Okay, let me write the function, then I'll explain. Then what I'll be doing, I have to take then let me control C, control V, let's check sum plus equal to sum plus equal to, I will take here the variable sum, okay, I plus sum, which will be initialized by 0. Now sum plus sum is 0 plus x I. Instead of 10, I have to write the n. Okay. Fine. Now, if I return it, this return sum by average, I am finding out the average sum by n. Okay, number of total summation, we are summing up all the numbers which are stored in the array. I will explain it later. First let me discuss it and let me run the code. So we are storing the result, we are showing the summation here, and we are finding out the average with this n. Number of marks is 10, which is stored here in n. So sum by n we are returning, and it needs to be changed. Average int, and this needs to be changed also int. Okay, now control s function f11, passing arguments to which marks correspond to the int avj marks int star x n. Okay, now we just notice this error. Better, it's not an error, it's a warning. Okay, now another error we are getting: conflicting types of avj marks. Previous declaration of avj marks was here. Okay, avg marks int. Okay, I didn't change this one also. This has to be only int, and this. Okay, control s, then function f11. So with a little warning, we have compiled and executed the program. Let us take the 10 marks. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Result is 5. Okay, so we got the average. So now let me explain this one. Okay, first let me explain with this, then I will explain. Control is, let's see what happens. Function F11. No problem. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. No problem. Got it? See, we are passing an entire array. This marks. So this is, we have to where this array will be stored, that we have to declare. So this is a symbol of array. Only putting these third brackets it will be done, and this is the dimension of this. Basically, what is this? This is nothing but an address, because here we are passing what? Marks. Only the variable, only the array name. I told you so many times, array name only implies the base address of the first element of the array, or base address of the first row. Array name implies the address of the first element of the array. I repeat, array name implies the base address of the array. Base address means address of the first element, means marks 0, ampersand marks 0. This is the base address. So marks is nothing but the ampersand marks within bracket 0. Okay, 0. We are sending this here. So address will be caught by what kind of variable? So this must be a pointer variable, int star. So we can define the variable this way, okay, and or we can define this way also. We can declare that this way also, star x. X is holding the address of this one. This way also we can do exactly. Now let us see control S function 11 send. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. No problem. So x is getting the base address. So x is ampersand ampersand marks 0. Okay, so we got it when we are writing this xi. So we are getting the value of the first room xi, or we can express it with another way. How? Star x plus I. This way, star x plus I. Let's see what happens. Control S function 11. No problem. So this is the same thing we are handling with the pointer reference. You know that x plus I means is, if I is 0, so x plus I means x. So star x means the value add address x means value add base address, means the content of the first room of the array marks. Now I increases by 1. Now I becomes 1. So star x plus I1 means x plus I means next room. So star x plus I, basically this is x plus 1 means basically this is x2. Okay, then I becomes 2, 2 less than n is fine. So star x plus 2 means x2 means that element, that particular content of that room we are accessing with this reference, with this pointer x. Now we are returning the value average and we are holding this value in another variable avg and we are just printing this one. So this is the way to pass an entire array to a function. Got it? Now let me ask you, how many of you are following? All these attendance or all your names I have collected already. It's being recorded here, you can see. Okay, so I have collected this total chat history here and it will be hosted, it will be there in this video permanently. Let me ask you, any question from your side so far what we have discussed? So to sum up of today's discussion, we have discussed the features of function, what is a function, what is the necessity of function, how we call a function, and how many types of calling are there for a function. What is the need? Two types, call by value and call by necessity. What is the necessity when we will be using call by difference? Then this last one, that is up to today's discussion, that is passing an entire array to a function. And let's see your questions, your queries. Is there one is clear? And where we are calling it by value, when we don't need to change the content of main variable. If we want to show just the previous program, the first program, what we did there, we just printed the maximum of two variables in function, not in main. So there we didn't change anything, nah? We caught the two values in function and local function and we printed the result. We printed the maximum of two variables in the function, local function. So we didn't change, or no change has been done here. We are just checking which one is greater. If there are two values in main, two variables, if we need to find out, if we need to show which one is greater, we don't need to change. We are not changing the content. We are not changing the value of main. Okay. So whenever we need to change the content of main from outside of main using any other function, we must use call by reference, otherwise call by value is fine. Okay, so yes sir, the array part is clear. No, array part is cleared earlier also. The question is whether the today's discussion, the today's topic was mainly function. We have started discussing regarding function. Function is very important. In each and every step you have to use function. From now onwards, whatever programs you have done, we didn't use our own function. So all these things you have to do again using function. So next day we will be starting the how to pass. We will start with the how to pass a two-dimensional array to a function. The next we will start discussing the manipulation of string, right? The materials of which I have already sent you in classroom, Google Classroom. So the manipulation of all the string functions are there ready-made in your string.h, but these functions we have to define again according to our own way. Means we will be creating a function like the ready-made function string copy, string concatenate, string length. So next day we will discuss the passing two-dimensional array to a function and all the manipulations, all the functions of strings we will be discussing. Any more question? Okay sir, got it. The entire discussion of function is clear in today's class. See, what I was missing one thing, that in this way, at least so far, a paper which is basically a practical paper. You have to implement the theoretical concept in a practical way within some language until and unless the concept will not be cleared. So here in this online class, if I don't show the code, writing the code directly for using a compiler online, you will not get the essence, you will not enjoy the essence of programming, because exactly what you have to do in your professional life. You are going to be an engineer, so you have to do some practical things. Only merely having theoretical concepts will not be of any use. So until and unless you will be doing the practical, you will be writing the code, you will be implementing the theoretical algorithm in code, there will be of no use eventually. And today's topic, this function, in each and every step in your data structure a subject, you have to apply this function. Without applying function, we don't write any code in data structure, because in data structure we are supposed to handle so many jobs in a single program. So if we don't split all these jobs into some different sub jobs, the program will be very clumsy one, and that will not be accepted industrially, right? So in industry, in real life, what we generally, we start writing the code using function. The main function doesn't hold any definition, any code, just apart from calling the function. Main function calls the functions of all the functions, okay, nothing else, and some message for taking input or printing the result on video there will be there in main function. Otherwise, except this, nothing will be there in main function in industrial applications. So all these jobs will be done using function. Okay, so I think today's discussion will be very fruitful for you, and okay, so good night. Next day I will expect all of you will come in live like today. Okay, good night, thank you, take care, be safe, thank you.